Hello, welcome back to Go Get That Rose. I am your host, Sarah. Happy after the holidays, into the holidays. With me, as always, is my co-host, J Wade.
I loved last night's episode. It was really, really good. I wish it would have lasted longer.
It was really good. Honestly, I think it was one of my favorite episodes. I think Tayshia's half of the season is one of the best Bachelor seasons I've watched.
Apparently, so does Darren. Tayshia!
She's one of the best leads I think we've had, which is saying something.
She
got shortchanged.
Yeah, well, and we've talked about it before, how on Bachelor in Paradise, we started out loving her and then kind of soured on her there toward the end.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't even Tayshia who on Bachelor in Paradise.
Yeah, I love her.
Why? I don't even remember why I soured on her at this.
Me neither.
She's great, dude.
And I didn't really like her on Colton's season when she was on The Bachelor, and I think she thrives being the lead. You know what I mean? I think that's just her kind of personality. I feel like she can get overshadowed a little bit I feel like she got overshadowed on Colton's season, even though she made it pretty far. Just her personality. But I think she's really shining here with the men. And yeah, I love her. Like we just said, last night was a great episode. Let's just get into it. Right off the bat, speaking of her being a great Bachelorette, we had another Bachelorette show up, kind of take over Chris Harrison's role a little bit. Chris Harrison left to go take his son to college, and people were kind of speculating if that was planned, if he just decided that. It seems like it was planned, and they did kind of have JoJo ready to go, which JoJo kind of seemed like a weird pick at first, but I thought she was great. I actually just finished watching.
I'm sorry, real quick.
Go ahead.
For someone who's for those who aren't aware, Hannah B is my first season ever of Bachelor stuff. So when you say she was a weird pick, why was she a weird pick? Having known, and all that.
I wouldn't have picked her as my first choice to take over for Chris for a little bit. She was Bachelorette about 4 years ago. She's a little farther back. And I mean, after watching her season, because she was the last Bachelorette season that I watched, and I've never seen her season before, and I thought she was great. I loved her season. She had a bit of a more personality after watching, but at first I was like, I don't know, she seems kind of a little basic to me. But I really like her. I enjoy her a lot. I wouldn't have picked her first. I think there's other people that people have speculated, if they were ever to get rid of Chris Harrison, like Wells or someone like that would have. Who? What'd you say?
Isn't that her name, Demi, the girl that we both just absolutely love?
Yeah, someone that
personality girl.
Yes.
Yeah, imagine her and Wells co-hosting Bachelor shows.
Perfect. Speaking of Wells was actually on JoJo's season of The Bachelorette. That's where he first started. So wonderful.
Yeah, the movie blog, J Wade for Bachelor. I will make that plug a little bit later.
Are we doing this every week? Anyway, I thought JoJo was great. She showed up. She talked to Tayshia. She talked about just a little bit how hard it is. JoJo actually was in love with the top 4 of her men. She cried hysterically every guy she sent home. Poor girl. And also when she was on The Bachelor, she was the final 2. She got sent home right before the proposals, and that lead told both his final 2 that he was in love with both of them. So yeah, it was she had some troubles. But yeah, she takes over for Chris. Chris leaves for a little bit, take his son to college. There are pictures of him with his son at college. So, I mean, he was probably doing other stuff too, but yeah, I thought she was great. She looked beautiful, and yeah.
I honestly don't remember much about her at all being in the show. That's how invested I was in the in the actual plot of the show.
She showed up like once or twice.
Yeah, I don't remember either of those times. I just remember Stachehole versus American Psycho and
the main event.
Taking the bull by the horns because she did.
We'll get there, the main event. Okay, we have 2 one-on-ones, 1 group date. Yeah. First one-on-one is with Zach C.
I don't see what she sees in that guy.
I mean,
that's cool that she sees something in him, and I appreciate that. And all the best of luck with that. You know what I mean? Because who am I to say how or what someone sees in someone else? But I'm just saying, for me personally, I don't see it, dude. I don't get it. I just, whatever, that's cool.
There are 2 men that I have talked about that I did not like that she's very into. And they got very personal this episode, Zach and Ben. Which I applaud them both for being super personal. I don't still like either of them, but I applaud them for being really brave with their stories. We'll talk about Zach's. Well, their date was they dressed up and did wedding photos, which they've done this kind of stuff before. And Tayshia was tripping the whole time.
Yeah, okay.
I get it. She mentions that she was divorced a lot, which, I mean, that's no criticism, but a lot. And the whole time she was like freaking out, and she's like, I've done this, I've been in the dress, I've gotten these pictures. And I don't know, I'm not divorced, but I am married, but I don't know, I just can't really relate with her to say, like, just freaking out about having to take photos again. Like, I don't know.
Well, you know what that means, though, right? You are unfortunately sorry to your husband. You are going to have to get divorced for this show so that you can go with some other dude on a game show, get some pictures, some wedding pics taken,
right,
so that you can better relate.
So I can understand. Like. Yeah, you're right. Just kidding. Maybe it's also like I didn't really care much about wedding photos when we got married. Like that. Me and my husband both don't like any pictures taken, so it was kind of like, okay, next. So maybe that's why I was just like, I don't care. Like, but yeah, it was a cool date. The photos didn't look that good. One of the podcasts I listened to was like, those photos are terrible. Yeah, and I was like, I didn't realize that. Like, I never realized it didn't actually show like good photos. It just showed those ones. I was
most
like,
of them, I assumed because I don't know. Most of them I thought were just stills taken from the actual production video.
Me too.
So a lot of those I don't think were the actual photographers.
Yeah. I thought that too. I thought it was just production showing, like, here's the behind the scenes of their photos, and we'd see like the actual real photos later.
Right.
But I don't know. I just thought that was really weird. I was like, I didn't think of that. And her first wedding dress she wore was gorgeous, and then the other ones are so ugly, except for the pink one.
Oh yeah, that second one that they went
the seashell one.
I don't know what you call it, but when it has the little hole there.
Yeah, it's like a cutout.
But whatever that shit, it was terrible. That was so damn ugly.
It was really. His outfits were.
What he was wearing, what the.
His outfits are terrible. He looked like Aladdin, like with the blue. I don't know what was going on. I was like, ugh. And they were also so big. They were way too big for him. So
hammer pants almost.
It was funny because when we just said, like, I don't see what she sees in him. She is smitten for this guy. Yeah, she talks to him different than she talks. Well, the ones that she's really into, she talks differently to them, like very sweet, and like her voice gets a lot softer. And I was watching it with my husband, and it popped up underneath that he's from Haddonfield, New Jersey. And he was like, that makes sense. And I was like, he's from like North Jersey, like New York, which I was like, he sounds like he has a New York accent, which he does. So I was like, oh, okay.
If you aren't from that area, like why would your husband say that makes sense?
Oh, he's from Jersey. He looks like he's from New York, and he sounds like he's from New York, and he looks like he's got the Italian New York, like they take care of their hair gel and stuff going on. And just kind of like his attitude too. It's not a bad thing.
Store kind of stuff. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, not totally Jersey Shore, but yeah, like takes a long time to make sure that they look really well in the morning. Their hair is very specific. just the way he like sounds a little bit, and his look looks very like.
All right. I was just wondering, for those of us who aren't from Jersey and wouldn't understand why someone would be like, well, that makes sense.
To me, I was like, oh yeah, he's from Jersey. It makes sense.
It's like someone's like, man, that dude's a bad driver. Where is he from? Indiana. Oh, well, that makes sense.
Nope, don't know that one.
See, you don't understand why it makes sense, but from around here, it makes perfect sense. Rubberneckers. Anyway, go ahead.
So Zach opens up about how he was previously married. His whole story was crazy. He just kept going on and on, which was good, but there was like all these different turns.
Yeah. I mean, just like
wild.
One after another, dude.
He starts out that he found out in college he had a brain tumor, and then went into surgery the very next day. Then he got addicted to the painkillers and drugs from like the medication and stuff from the surgery. Then he started doing drugs. His wife left him. He got arrested, got a DUI, just like all this stuff. And then he says that he stole a check from his dad, was going to go cash it. And then like the bank teller, his angel, he said, which I thought was really sweet, called the dad, and the dad like took him home. And that's when everything changed, went to rehab, and now works at that rehab, is on the board of the rehab.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it was just like, I was sitting there tearing up. I messaged you last night and said I cried like multiple times.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was so touching, and like one of the realest moments in this episode, like him just talking about all the stuff that he went through. I saw other people tweeting about like, yeah, it's really real. Like the system kind of fails people sometimes when they go to surgeries and they end up getting addicted to the pain medications. Like you don't really see a lot of people talk about that as much. Yeah, so I just thought his story made me, it clicked a lot of stuff where I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like I understand why he has been saying like, now I can see myself opening up to this journey and stuff, because he was married before. Like, because at first I just thought like, oh, he's never even been anywhere near that, and that's a little sketchy. But now that I kind of know like all the stuff he went through, it kind of makes sense why he seems a little bit more reserved towards Tayshia. I still don't really like him, but I respect his story.
Sure. And I really like, I like not him, but as far as well as respecting, I should say, I like that he works at that rehab facility. I both like that and respect that. I really respect that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that shows his character a lot. That he like
Ivan are the two that I've enjoyed the most as far as one-on-ones and opening up, that kind of thing. Those two guys conversations with Tayshia one-on-one seem, for me at least, to have the biggest impact and to actually getting to something. Nothing superficial. It's stuff that actually matters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's important.
And if you're
really going to try to find love in 30 days, then that's important.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like very important and natural stuff to bring up. Like, hey, if we are going to get engaged at the end of this, you need to know that all this happened to me. Like sometimes this show, I mean, it's a trope of this show that once you get your one-on-one date, that's when you share your tragic story. That's when you share what made you you. It's kind of like made fun of. But I feel like this and Ivan's and Ben's later was very just kind of natural, and like, yeah, you should tell the person you might potentially get engaged to about this kind of stuff. Like it didn't feel like, okay, now it's my time to share my story. It was like, okay, here we go. Like,
yeah, see, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like when I go off on my rants about you don't know these people, and then you get engaged to them, and then you find out a few months later they're nuts or whatever. But this is the kind of thing I mean. Like, imagine someone, they had overcome addiction and stuff, and this is stuff they're not revealing, and later on it turns out to be an issue and something that the girl or the guy, whoever was the bachelor or bachelorette, had no idea about. And that's my biggest gripe with this show, and how it's like, you don't love these people. You don't even know these people.
Yeah.
You know 30 days of them, and they're of what, like 20-some to 30-some years of life. You know 30 days of this person, and you think you know them enough to love them. That's insanity for me. But yeah, Ivan and shit. Zach. You know me with the name Zach. Yeah, Ivan and Zach. They've been the dates I've enjoyed the most.
Yeah,
you get the most substance out of them. Good, solid guys, from what I can tell. Whether or not either one of them have a shot in hell at winning the whole thing, I don't know. But they seem like solid guys nonetheless. So.
I think Zach will go all the way. I don't think he's going to win, but I think he's going to be. I don't know. He might win. He's my top 2.
Right.
But unless something happens and he drop, I could see him also just dropping out.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, and then they went on a Ferris wheel, which is my nightmare. I hate Ferris wheels. I'm terrified of heights, and that looks sketcy. It was creak. Oh no! Who put that together? They're at a resort. No. Okay. Woo, let's get into what got me heated. Was this group date? We got a lot to talk about on this group date. It's an art date, group date. All the men except for Easy and Zach are there. I'm not gonna make a list. And they walk in and they see these 2 nude models and all the men are freaking out. And I'm kind of why would they just assume that they're also going to be getting naked? Right. Okay.
They've already done it twice so far.
Yeah. I was why are they going to get naked again? And then they're you're just going to draw them, which is funny because I'm just they made these people quarantine for 2 weeks so they could just sit there.
Oh, man, they got fat pay to stand there naked.
Yeah. Actually, that's not a bad gig. I was okay.
Especially if they don't know each other.
I just assumed that they were actually a couple, but I actually don't know.
And imagine if they weren't. They never met each other before, and they both go to quarantine, get a fat pay, just to stand there naked and hug a stranger for, an hour or something. That's awesome.
That's
what a
terrible.
dream job, man.
I want to know who that lady was too with the pink hair. They said, I think her name was Lauren or something, but they never was Lauren. She has her own art studio. She's been doing art for 15 years. No, it was this is Lauren, and yeah, I was okay. Don't know who you are. You could be a PA for all we know, or just someone I don't know, a assistant. I don't know. It was weird. Okay, so the first thing, my favorite moment is Tayshia goes over to the table and she's I'm sitting here, this is my seat. And Noah's already sitting at the table and Bennett comes over and he goes, this is my seat. Get up. And Noah's no, it's not. And he's yes, it is. Get out of my seat, essentially. And Noah just gets up. He's I'm not going to cause any drama, which I don't know. I think he should have, but at the same time, knowing all the drama that happens, that makes him look good because he didn't really start anything. Because honestly,
American Psycho basically laid it out hey, they told me that this is where I'm supposed to sit.
He was this is my seat.
And then in Stachehole's just oh, really? Okay, well, here, go ahead and take it. And I'm just dude, no.
He probably didn't know what was going on, honestly. He probably was just what? And didn't want to cause anything. I was okay, fine. We talked about this last week. I talked about it with you. We all know that I loved Bennett at the beginning. But this episode was rough. He was terrible. And I really think it's because it's not ironic. If he was just acting this way, playing up the whole, I want the Harvard, I have money, and Jay Gatsby-ness or American Psycho-ness of it all, I can get behind that. It's a joke. He's in on the joke. But he is dead ass that he,
I've been telling you the whole time that,
I know, and it's so heartbreaking.
He's legit, dude. He is legit. I would not even... You couldn't pay me enough to hang out with this motherfucker for 5 minutes, dude. Oh, man. But just anyway, sorry.
The producers are showing us every time he talks, he has to throw something at Noah.
Right.
Little snide comments, which it's even in front of Tayshia, which is your mistake. You don't do that shit in front of Tayshia, in front of the lead.
Right.
You dummy. Especially if Noah's not doing it back. Because when they sit down, I'm sure she's thinking like, well, I've seen Bennett run his mouth and Noah really hasn't done anything. And him kind of snapping back is him like what is that called?
Self-sabotaging.
Oh my God. No, Noah's self-defending himself.
Defending himself. Yes, I knew I'd get it eventually. Thanks for the help, Sarah.
Oh my goodness, it's been a long week. Yeah, I don't know. I want this is just gonna be about Bennett and Noah at this point.
Yeah.
Bennett, like when they all drew pictures and they were awful. I was very surprised that none of them could draw. Like they were awful.
Yeah, I'm sorry, real quick. What are the odds when you get a group of people, no matter what,
none of them are artistic
or race or whatever, no matter what, when you get a group of people together, a large group, what are the odds that not one of them can write music or draw
or sing? Like
nothing, sing nothing. They can't do shit. I don't get it. But
that's
whatever.
Very surprising.
See, that's why. That's why that they need to start reaching out of what they normally look for in the Bachelor franchise. So, I mean, I'll just say that, we need to get real people. We need to get real people on the show, guys. And that's why I want you to go up there on the Twitter right now and hashtag J Wade for Bachelor, because fat guys deserve love too. And I mean, let's get some real people on there, not just these pretty boys and pretty girls and with all these awesome high career jobs and influencers and models and stuff. Dude, let's get some real people on there. I'm a great guy, man. I got a lot to offer. So hashtag J Wade for Bachelor. Let's do this.
I was trying to think of the American, I don't know. What's the Pledge Allegiance or something to hum underneath of you while you were saying amen. Some patriotic music or something.
I might have to look for something like that.
That was beautiful. Look at the flag behind you, with the eagles.
That's awesome. We may have to make a promo for that.
Never mind. So my favorite part is when they all had the clay and they were all supposed to make things that reminded them of their relationship with Tayshia, and Spencer made a pepperoni pizza.
Right.
I was like, one guy made pepperoni pizza, one guy made a brownie. I was like, did they not hear the instructions? I do not understand. Right. The thing that got me heated was the fact that Blake made a penis.
Yeah.
I was like, my man, you were, nothing against your age or whatever, but my man, you were 30 years old on a dating show and you made a penis?
And you're repping Canada, who were supposed to be the nicest people on the...
And he just went, it's what you think it is. I was like, are you kidding me? I would be pissed. I'd be like, excuse me, my man. No.
It did seem a bit inappropriate.
Okay. I thought maybe I'm overreacting. I felt like it was a little bit offensive. And all the men are like, oh, classic Blake. And then we hear Spencer say multiple times, Blake is always talking about sex, which I think is kind of...
talk about sex.
No, but I guess at the house, when the cameras aren't around, or they are, I guess he's always talking about, having sex or something, which I'm kind of like, okay, my dude. I don't know. It added to the list of things why I don't like Blake anymore. I was just turned off by that. And then Bennett made my favorite part, their California home, their other home, the ranch. I forget exactly what he said, but he named
France.
Yeah, he's I didn't get to our chateau and our ski lodge. Yeah. It's I can't.
But that's what's crazy is he legit thinks this is impressing her. He thinks this is, in his world, this is how you get girls in his world. That's what's messed up about it all.
Oh my God. I wish.
Dang.
Bougie. Yeah, it was wild. Noah said, do you know how to spell privileged?
Yeah, I love it.
I was like, wow, you're right. He did not think that was funny. which is pretty funny. And yeah, that was a mess. And then it kind of got to the serious part where they had to do self-portraits, and some of them were really good. The ones that we saw, I thought were really good. I start crying once again. Riley's touched me when he was talking about how his mom asked him like what keeps him going, and he was saying that he wants to someday have a wife and share time with his wife and his daughter or something like that. And the mom was like, why are you thinking about that? And he's like, because I never had that as a child. And I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It was really sad, but like beautiful at the same time. Like I was like, oh my gosh. Like them men they opened up. Brendan did like the photo frame thing, which I thought was
really sweet.
You thought it was sweet?
Sweet, at least.
I thought it was sweet too. It was a good move. He's playing the game. That was
right.
That was smooth. Like, this is me, and then someday I'd like to make it for us, and he turns it on the side, and that was like smooth. Ivan's was he did the puzzle pieces. I was a little lost when he started talking about his dad, and because he's like, oh, my dad's older and he had cancer, but then he tied it in like, I want him to see me happy with my wife or something like that, which I was like, okay, that's sweet. And then she put the puzzle piece in. They were really depressing, but I thought that they were, Kaylin said all of those stories were so depressing, which I agree, but they got me. Like, they just got me. Also, I feel like it was appropriate for them, because she was asking them to share like deep stuff, so it was appropriate time for them to do that. It wasn't just like bringing down the mood on the curtain. Yeah, and then baby Ben. Let me just say, I still don't really like Ben. We'll talk about him at the after thing, but how I feel about this part does not really impact how I feel later about him. The whole time Ben is freaking out about having to share a part. Like, it's just cutting back and forth, and he's like freaking out and stuff like that. So then when it's his turn, he like holds up his thing, which looks pretty cool actually. Like, looks like he actually put thought and stuff into it. Right. And then is like, I'll be right back, and comes out and is just wearing a robe. And Tayshia's like, what the heck? And I couldn't look because I was just so like, I was so annoyed. Everyone keeps saying that, and I'm like, I just couldn't. I was so like embarrassed. Like, he comes out and he's like, I'm gonna give you all of me or something, and is completely naked. Which is
but it doesn't really count. Was it really all of him since he was covering up his junk?
Yeah, you should have been proud.
But like, I'm gonna give you almost all of me, baby. You know, I don't. But I just that came off as desperate and cheesy.
Yeah, okay, I was just gonna ask how you feel. I felt like it was definitely desperate. Like, it was not a planned thing. It wasn't like Bennett and Chasen at the men date thing, or the grown-ass man thing. Like, this definitely seemed like, shit, I don't know what to do. All these other men look better than me right now. What am I going to do? Oh, I'm going to go get naked and show off my body. Which, it's hard to say that knowing that he opened up later about having an eating disorder, which are kind of like, oh, how can we talk about this and talk about that? Like, I don't know. But I did not like it. I did not like it at all. I was like, dude, it just.
Well, he needs that validation, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, when he first came out with that robe on, my first thought, honestly, with him being a military vet, I honestly thought that he was going to come out and present that he was an amputee of some sort. Arm, or like that he had a prosthetic or an arm or leg or something. And that was his, like, getting personal thing, is like, you know, and something that, and I can see, I can understand why that might be something that some people would want to conceal from you. You wouldn't want to let go around telling everybody you just mean them, hey, you know, I have a prosthetic. But that's what I thought was going to happen at first. And for a second, I was like, man, this is like, dude, I'm about to tear up. This is going to be good.
And then it wasn't that.
Like, No, and I swear I could hear that wah 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 out loud when that happened for me. I was just like, dude, no.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just talk about it now. I was thinking about how I wanted to talk about this because I really respect him. In his time with Tayshia, he did open up and say that he struggled with an eating disorder for about 15 years, since he was 15 years old, which I have never, ever in my personal life had a man open up about having an eating disorder, or even on TV or on The Bachelor. I don't think they ever, like, no contestants have ever talked about it. So I was just like, oh my God, like, I give him major props for doing that. It's definitely something that needs to be talked about more. It's definitely stigmatized as like a more female disorder, which is not true, but just the fact that like he as a man like said like I struggled with this, I just respected the hell out of that.
Yeah.
And it was I mean it's terrible that is something that he struggled with, but it was also beautiful at the same time to see that be like him say that on TV. Like, you know what I mean? Like for him to like come out and say that, and for that stigma to kind of go away for a little bit. I don't know. But with that, I was thinking a lot about, he kind of drives me crazy because he's nervous all the time, but he always says things like, I'm kind of weird for being emotional, or like it's weird for me to be so emotional, or stuff like that. And I just kind of thought back to like, especially I forgot he was in the military. Like, he probably was told at a young age, and especially being in the military, that like not to show emotions, that guys do not show emotions, men do not cry, don't any of that. And I feel like that really ties a lot with his eating disorder as well, like because he says it all the time, like all the time that he's like reserved and shy with her, he's always like, oh, it's so weird that I'm crying or being emotional. And it kind of drives me crazy sometimes, because then he'll come out and be completely naked, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Like, because that's a big step, but I feel like, I don't know, like I feel like it just kind of contradicts himself a little bit, because he's saying he struggles like with his weight, and I want to know more about his eating disorder now, like if that sounds bad, but like how his self-image has changed from that, like if he's still struggling with it, or now if
not just for us, that's important for Tayshia at least.
Exactly.
You know, whether or not we see it is irrelevant to the fact that that is at least important for Tayshia to hear.
Yeah, I think, and especially like we were saying, like he came out and he was ripped, and like you want to expect that, but I just want to know, like, is he at a healthy place? Is he still kind of struggling with it? Like, I don't know. I know that's like not important, but like it's important for Tayshia to kind of know. But I just feel like he has a lot to figure out about himself still. Like that's just the vibe I'm getting.
The biggest thing for me that proves you're right about that is him using that word validation when he's like, I've not been validated. It's like, dude, if you really are thinking that way, you didn't get a rose in a game show, and for that reason you feel invalidated.
Yeah.
And dude, you got some growing up, or you have some talking out that your issues with someone you need to do. There's something you need to do to help yourself before you can be in a productive relationship with someone else.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because I feel like, is it almost flipped that now he's still seeking that validation from women because he didn't get it? I mean, I don't know if he didn't get it but you know what I mean? Like, because he said, like, when I was 15, I realized that girls didn't like fat kids, which is also a stigma anyway. I mean, and like, which is a real thing for him to also say. But now is it like he flipped that all the way, and it's kind of like he's still just looking for that validation from women. And was this the right thing for him to go on? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just have, there's always at least one contestant a season that's on that you're just like, are you mentally stable enough to be here? Like, are you, like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to get in trouble, but
No, you're fine. This is all your opinion based on observation.
This is my opinion based on what I have seen. I feel like he has a lot more emotionally that he needs to figure out before he can get married.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. And he got the group date rose, which, I mean, I expected him to get it. Yeah. I mean, he, like, dropped a bomb. Before we're going to break, there's one thing I forgot to bring up about this date that also, when they were blindfolded for some reason, making the clay, Bennett starts kissing her.
See, that was 100% American Psycho move right there.
That's so inappropriate.
You gotta watch that movie before next week.
I got you. But Bennett was like, it's 50 Shades of Clay. 50 Shades of Clay. I was like, yeah, don't do that. Please don't do that. Yeah, he just comes off a little sketchy to me. Okay, well, we'll be back with more Bennett and Noah drama. But before that, listen to these other shows that we have going on this network.
Hey guys, Sean and Wade are back, and we're here to tell you about the next season of our Mandalorian show, Hey Mando. That's right, this year, we have a name.
Hell yeah, dude, Boba Fett Season 2!
Wade, please.
Dude, what? I can't wait to watch the continuing adventures of Boba Fett and Baby Yoda.
The Mandalorian. Not Boba Fett. It's not Boba Fett, and it's not Baby Yoda. It's the child.
Yeah, Boba Fett and Baby Yoda.
You know what? Whatever. Join us every Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern live on the Merc with the Movie Blog YouTube channel, or catch the podcast version on the Merc with the Movie Blog podcast feed as we cover every episode of The Mandalorian Season 2.
Hey, Jay Wade here to tell you about SEN After Live, our SEN Live After show where we talk about, well, whatever Christian, Brett, and the rest of the crew talk about and the insanity that ensues. So join us each week here on the Merc with the Movie Blog feed on your podcasting platforms, as well as YouTube now on the SEN After Live channel. Talk to you then.
Hey everybody, I'm Sean. You guys might know me on this feed from co-hosting Beyond the Screen, but now here at Merc with the Movie Blog, we have started a brand new show exclusively for video games called Game Over Screen. So join me every week with my co-hosts.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Brendan.
And I'm Tyler.
As we talk about everything video game related, and when we, I guess, get to the Game Over Screen. I don't know, I don't have a good pun for that, but the joke is that we're going to die a lot in the game.
Well, you might.
And we're back. Make sure you go check out those shows. You can find them on the Merc with the Movie Blog podcast feed, and I believe on this YouTube channel as well. Woohoo, yep. Some of them. Woohoo. Okay. Let's talk about our second one-on-one with Easy.
Yeah. I was surprised by this entire date.
Surprised. Really?
Yes.
I was not. I knew it was coming.
Oh, I did not know it was coming. I was surprised at how much fun they had, and then I was surprised at how poorly the date ended.
I knew they were going to have a lot of fun because I felt like Easy was the best friend role. Like, even when, he was clearly...
Always a bridesmaid.
Always the bridesmaid. I mean, I liked the date. I saw a lot of people criticize. I really liked this date. I thought it was really fun. Like, what are they going to do? Like, I thought it was creative. I thought they had good, like, friendship chemistry. Like, they were cracking me up.
Right.
I love seeing, like, grown men scream because they're scared of, like, ghosts and stuff. It's so fun.
Shout out there for those of y'all who know about that.
I loved it. It was so... Yeah. They're, like, going in and out of the rooms and, like, scream. Like, I just thought they were having a lot of fun together. And then Easy decides that he's going to tell her that he is falling in love with her. Which was, if he didn't say that, he would have stayed. Like, if he...
Oh, you really think so?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Why do you think so?
Because I think that she realized like how I don't think she realized how much he really liked her until he said that. Because she even said like, oh, we're having fun, like we're vibing, like things are going well, like leading up to that point. And then when he was like, I'm falling in love with you, you saw on her face that she was like, like she was not there.
Like it was too soon, like he said it too soon.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're saying? So then what's the difference between him saying it and someone else saying it and her not having a negative reaction?
I think if someone else said it that she was into.
So she just was flat out not into him, and it didn't matter whether or not he told her that he loved her. Right? I think Tayshia really likes him as a friend, and I think she knew that she really liked him as a friend and wanted to kind of keep him around as long as she could if they both understood that there was a mutual friendshipness. Oh, she just wanted to use him as a friend on her journey to find love while leading him on to believe that
I wouldn't say leading up. Okay.
I get it now. I've been in that position before, where, I get it now. Sorry. I just didn't realize that was what we were talking about here. That's what happened. Now I'm kind of like, I don't know.
People, there are some people on The Bachelor that are self-aware to be like, I don't really like I'm not vibing with this person, we're just friends, but I'm having a good time and I'm just being kept around and that's okay with me. It's not like using me, but like I'm just being kept on the show to have fun or whatever. And
you're right because if she would have either said it back or not set it back, but kept him around to fill that role still, then that would be using him. You're right.
Yes.
I apologize. I'm sorry, Tayshia. I did. You're awesome. I'm sorry. I just, you're right. You're right.
That's why I think she realized when he was a little bit more serious than she was. And she even said that, like, I don't want to keep you around till the next rose ceremony and you leave completely surprised. I think if she would have been like, oh, and kept him and given the rose, then she would have been leading him on. But I think because she was like, no, but I think
she did good there, man. She sent him home so that she wasn't using him, and that's a very good quality. I dig that shit. I didn't pick up on that at first. When you said that whole little thing there, I looked at it totally like in a man way, and you guys get exactly what I mean when I say that. Now that I get it now. Yeah, she did good there. She did good there.
Caitlin says she might not have really had the realization till that night. Yeah, that's what I think it was. I don't think she realized until he said, I'm falling in love with you, that she was like, oh yeah, this is just not. And that happens. That happens quite a lot on the show. On JoJo's season, the one guy said, I love you, and she sent him home right after that. Because she was like, I just don't love you back. And it happens a lot. So Kaylin said, do you think those damn suitcases are actually packed? Yes, they have to pack their suitcases before they go on any of the dates, just in case they get sent home. And they have to pack them before every rose ceremony. So they're, which I think is so funny. They just have to keep constantly packing up their suitcases. But yes, they have to pack up their suitcases, which is funny. Unless it's like a surprise elimination that they just weren't expecting. Then they come back and pack up. But yeah, fun. It adds that drama, and the producers make them all come and like sit in the living room so they can watch it happen.
Whether or not, the guy comes or a producer or an assistant or whatever comes and gets the luggage. Yeah. I do like that. That's pretty fucking cool.
I think that's really funny because then, especially because all the guys are like, "Oh, Easy's gonna get a rose. They have the strongest connection," which I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I don't see that at all. But okay,
maybe that's why I didn't see the blind side coming too. Is because the other guys are sitting there like, man. If I'm not there. But if the guys who are there feel threatened by Easy, then who the hell am I to not think the same thing? So I'm sitting there with them just like, dude, man, like this guy must be a serious threat. And then literally, like I was blindsided like he was. he said to her what I was thinking, this was probably the best part of the whole night.
When they were walking out?
When
they were walking out?
Yeah, well, yeah, and he's like, basically, he's like, like, is this for real? Like, is this serious? And I'm thinking, oh my, like, he was obviously in complete shock.
Yeah. He's like, are you for real?
I couldn't believe he actually asked, like, it's like, dude, you're in the process of getting up to walk out. Like, yeah, she's serious, dude.
Yeah, I felt really bad. I was like,
me too. He really did, man. He thought that, and I've been there before too, where, I'm talking to somebody, and in my mind, I'm building up this whole, like, we're getting married in 5 years, and in their mind, they're like, man, I really dig my neighbor next door. I hope he calls. So it happens.
Yeah. So Easy went home, and finally, the main event of the episode at the very end. I didn't mention it, but Tayshia at the end of the group date said, Bennett and Noah, there's something going on. I'm going to figure it out. Get to the bottom of it. And Bennett immediately, as soon as she leaves, is like, I don't know what she's talking about. I have no animosity towards you at all. And Noah's just like, dude, that's when I was like, Bennett, are you effing kidding me? Like, come on. And then the whole rest of the time, Bennett is like, I have never done anything wrong. And he's like, you call me young Noah, which is super condescending. And Noah said, like, pretty nicely, he's like, dude, like, the condescend, I can only take so much. Like, you need to knock it off. And I think Spencer said, like, oh, Bennett talks down to everyone, which is kind of like, oh,
I totally believe that.
Yeah, he really is a jackass. Like,
yeah.
So JoJo shows up again and is just like, okay, Bennett, Noah, y'all going on a 2-on-1 without really saying that they're going on a 2-on-1, and was just like, she wants to talk to both of you. One of you is going to leave. Yeah. And
this is when I was wondering what you thought of Bennett at this point in time. I was wondering if you still liked him. Do you still like Bennett after the dickhead move he pulled?
I do not like Bennett as a person, but my man is given some good TV.
It is. It's very entertaining.
This man walks out. We see him wrapping up a present, and I'm like, that is a move. He's getting the present for Tayshia. Like, what a move. This man says, you might think it's a present for Tayshia, but it's a present for Noah.
Yeah.
To show that there's no animosity. And I'm like, I love this. I love this. And I think I love it because he's not self-aware. Like, he does not realize what. Oh my God. Noah, he literally gave a gift to Noah in the sense that Noah doesn't have to do anything at this point. He just has to sit there and be quiet, and he looks great because Bennett is digging himself a grave. Like, yes, he is. Bennett goes, my favorite part of any episode. Bennett goes, I brought a gift for you. Do you want me to open it for you, or do you want to open it? I'll open it and explain the gifts for you. Oh my God.
This moment here is the only time that I actually do think that he's aware that he's being a complete asshole. I think he was 100% aware of that. But at the same time, I think even though he was aware of that, I think the confidence, or not even confidence, but the balls that it takes to still do that is just the arrogance of him thinking that like this is
he had it in the bag.
and like we're going into this and Noah's going home. He even said it there. Well, sorry, it gets to that point when Tayshia comes in and they all kind of start talking. But, because at that point I'm kind of like, well, okay, Bennett, he's got to back off a little bit here and now kind of like turn it a little bit, to make it like scale it down. Like, yeah, I'm Mr. Good. But no, man, American Psycho was out the whole time. And when, Noah, that was what was great. Noah's like, you told me I have no chance of getting with Tayshia here. And he's like, no. And I love how he's just so calm. Like, no, I said, you have 0 chance. That's the stuff I love, but like I love it in movies. I love it
in real life.
But like this dude is really a dick like this. It's amazing.
Oh my God. When Noah was like, oh, you told me that I behave like a 14-year-old boy. And he was like, no, I said you act like one because there's an 11-year-old or 11 age difference between us. He's like, and I stand by that statement.
Yeah.
It's like, Bennett, no.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I do have moments. I don't come off like him, but I do have moments where, like, if you piss me off and we're in an argument and you're like, you said this, I will be like, no, I said, if you like you're having an argument with I'll get technical, but like when he does it, it's just like on this whole other level that just really gets under your skin.
Well, let's talk about the gifts. So I feel like this is the most important part that no one is talking about. Bennett brings out a red bandana and says, oh, red because of the bad blood between us or something like that, and because you're from Wyoming or something, and because of my former cowboy days, which... where are the pictures? I want the pictures of him as a cowboy. Like, what? No one is talking about how Bennett was a former cowboy. Like, I need the pictures.
Like the football player? No, I'm just kidding.
That is the...
Cowboys? What?
That is the most important information that has ever come out of this episode, is that he was a cowboy.
I want to find some stuff, too.
Oh, my gosh. Then he gives him mustache socks that he previously wore, but got them washed, so all good. And then says, he just can't help himself. Then he says, because mustaches belong on your feet and not your face, or something like that. I was like, oh my God. Then he brings out a book about the 4 emotional intelligence in a relationship or something like that. But he says emotional intelligence, which... fans of The Bachelor knows on Nick Viall's season of The Bachelor, the big drama was around emotional intelligence, where a girl named Taylor who went to, oh my God, Johns Hopkins University, had her master's at like 23 in counseling, kept telling the other girl that she had low emotional intelligence, and it was a whole thing. So I was triggered listening to Bennett explain.
He did his research there. That goes to show he either is a fan of the shows or he just
had the same conversation. The same conversation. Because he was like, I mean, his was a little different. His was definitely more aggressive, and hers was definitely more of like concern for this girl, this poor girl. You gotta watch it. It's incredible. But yeah, so then it's like, explains what the 4 things of emotional intelligence are and says you're really good at this one but you lack the other 3, and then it's like, but I'm not coming at you, like I'm saying this out of a place of love for you. And but then he just constantly keeps telling him like, you're never gonna end up with Tayshia. At one point said like, if he went on a one-on-one date with Tayshia, it would be the worst date of her life. Like, he's just constantly saying these terrible things. Noah has never, we don't see him say anything rude about Bennett, I don't think. The only thing he said was, how do you spell privileged? But, like, come on.
I mean, hey, dude, fair play.
And then, so Noah's sitting there, and he's like, okay, like, I'm going to respond when you're done, and then tries to kind of respond back, which, good for him. And Bennett just keeps cutting him off. Right. And I'm like, dude, like, you have to let him talk like that. You can't do that. Like, that's just rude. And then Tayshia comes in. You can tell she's just pissed. And I really do feel bad for Noah at that moment, because I just feel like it really isn't his fault. Like, Bennett is just targeting him and saying that he's a child. And you can really only take that for so long.
I'm sorry. I don't think you can't say that it's not his fault. Who's the one who started all this shit by running to Tayshia and...
That's true. And
like, oh, everybody's picking on me. Everyone's
but he's not continuing it with Bennett.
Well, I know, but I mean, he's a little piece of dick too. He started. Okay. Started all this shit.
Oh, I froze.
You froze.
No, that's terrible. Anyway,
you're still here, so
it's fine.
You can fix it while you talk.
Maybe. Anyway, yeah. So at the end, Tayshia just she comes in and is like, "Is this how you guys are all the time?" And basically, Bennett just can't let it go, and it was like, "I didn't even know we had beef. I didn't understand that we had beef before this." And she's like, "Do you understand saying that you're kind of like calling my integrity?" And he's like, "No, like I don't like. I just believe like he just really could not understand that he was literally digging himself a grave. Like I don't think he understood. He just kept putting his foot in his mouth.
Right.
At all times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it ends on a cliffhanger.
Oh, the cliffhanger was amazing.
What's in the box?
Oh, I know. I was just like, oh my gosh. And then they zoom in on the box. I don't know what I think, but I hope that she sends them both home.
I don't think she'll send them both home. I don't know. I think she's just gonna send Bennett home. But maybe she will send them both home. That's fine. Bye. I don't need either of them.
Yeah, screw them both.
Screw them both.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, I wanted to reach through the TV and hit American Psycho so bad. He's just so rude. I mean, like in mean-spirited rude. Whether he realizes it or not is beside the point.
That is the word.
He is degrading people. He is belittling them. He's talking down to them. That's the kind of shit that I don't like. That's the kind of stuff that really makes me mad.
All the stuff he kept saying was just made him look bad. Like, came back on him. Like, he just kept saying, like, there's 11-year age difference between us. And it's like, dude, then why do you care? Why are you picking a fight with someone? Like, that, what?
He doesn't change his attitude or what he says in front of Tayshia either. And that's very concerning, because it's like, it obviously then that tells me that in his world, and I say that because he ain't living in the real world. In his world, his girlfriend or his significant other sitting there listening to him degrade and belittle someone like that, she obviously digs it and is accepting of it, or else he would think that it's not appropriate to do in front of someone you're dating. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He is very, very comfortable being a complete jerk to people in front of someone that he wants to be in a relationship with.
Yeah, he's not really being different in front of the guys and in front of her at all.
Right.
Like exactly.
Which is a good thing as far as he's not putting up a front, but because he's not putting up a front, we are able to see that he really is a POS.
Yeah, I mean, he basically was just like, and I stand behind everything I just said, like, to Noah. Yeah. Like, at that point, I'd be like, okay, like, that's...
That was him saying, hi, my name's Bennett, a.k.a. American Psycho. I'm an asshole, and I stand by that.
Also, his eyes are so black, and they're so beady. Like, they're just very, like...
There's so much about him that annoys me.
Yeah, well, we'll see next week if we see any more Bennett.
You said you think Bennett and not Noah?
I think Bennett is going home. Okay. I don't think Noah's going home at all.
You're probably right, but I still want to see them both go.
I don't think Noah's going to stay around much longer, but I don't think Bennett is going to make it. I would not keep Bennett after that. Like, you could tell she was more pissed off at Bennett than she was at Noah. Like, oh no. So. Anyway, that's going to be the end of our episode here. I don't know I think we talked about it last week on the show, but at some point they're going to start doubling up episodes during the week. Maybe we didn't. Of The Bachelor, I believe they're going to start doing Monday and Tuesdays, just because I don't know how many more episodes we have left, because this is a weird season. But Matt James' season of The Bachelor begins on January 4th. So depending on how many episodes there is, the rumor going around, we're going to get 2 a week.
starting. I have no idea when. But when that happens, I don't think anything's going to change here. We'll just have more to talk about. So, yeah. But until then, J Wade, where can the people follow you?
Y'all can follow me on the Twitter at JWade1134. That is the letter J, WADE 1134. And yeah, you can check my bio there and see other shows that I'm doing.
And you can follow me on Twitter at SCBock, SSEABOCK. And you can follow the show at the Go Get That Rose Twitter account. I've been trying to tweet out more during the show. I retweet a bunch of other people's funny memes and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. People are way funnier than I am. So check out all my my retweets. And then you can follow Merc with a movie blog. Oh, yeah, at Movie Blog Merc. Oh, my goodness. On Twitter. And you can find these shows and more anywhere you can find podcasts. And you can find them on the YouTube channel, Merc with a Movie Blog, if you're not listening on YouTube. And you can see our pretty faces. Until next time, we'll see you next week. Goodbye.